Hello everyone, my name is Cookieking, and I'm going to be casting this game sent in to me by Zeriod, who is the red Protoss in the lower eastern corner, and his opponent, WeeDsuspect, who is the blue Zerg in the northwestern corner. This replay, as I said, was sent in to me by Zeriod from the StarCraft Reddit, the StarCraft subreddit. I've offered to begin casting games for fellow Redditors, or I guess you don't really have to be a Redditor. I'm willing to cast anyone's game, just to get some casting experience, and I find casting fun. It's a fun way to enjoy the game without having to necessarily play it. So we started out with Zeriod. We made this pylon down here. Send his probe out to scout. We're most likely looking at a Forge Fast Expand, as with a map as big as Tal'darim Altar, that just makes sense. And a Forge Fast because you have this really easy to take base. It's really close to your main. There's only this one entrance ramp, which can be easily walled off with some cannons and the forge. So there it is. There's the forge going down. He's still got his scouting probe out. The only scouting WeeDsuspect, he just sent out a drone to go and look for the Zeriod, but we have the Overlords flying out, going to the far bases, and WeeDsuspect has not yet started a pool. He has 17 drones now. Keep in mind, this is a Bronze League game, which nothing wrong with the Bronze League. We were all there at one point. Gotta learn, gotta take the steps up. And he's opted for hatch first, hatchery at 16, and then dropping his pool, which this probe will of course see. Now, I don't know, nope, WeeDsuspect has yet to find which base his opponent is at, but Zeriod has obviously already found that out with this probe going around. He saw the expansion going down. So, won't be too many surprises to Zeriod. He knows not to expect probably early speedlings, as this gas went down after the pool, and the pool is really late anyway. So now we've got this forge, the cannon, the wall off isn't really complete, and our Protoss player is getting high minerals. There goes the Nexus finally. Got the Nexus going down. It's got a lot of probes, pretty good saturation there, using his chrono on those probes since he doesn't really have anything else to spend that on, as he doesn't have gas yet and he doesn't have any unit producing buildings, and as I say that, he throws down his gateway. He's got his 2 pylons right here, which is pretty smart in case one of them was to get sniped. He would still have power to his buildings. No Artosis pylon in this game. So now, back at our Zerg player, he just started his speed. He's continuing to get gas, didn't pull any drones off. His queen's about halfway done, still making drones. And beginning to saturate his second base. Still no units yet, no Zerglings out on the field, just drones and probes. Our Protoss player has a couple more probes and drones. The queen came out, is going to make short work of that scouting probe. It's taken out. Got a spine going down for some defense. This Nexus is almost done. And Zeriod's following the advice all Protoss players should adhere to, which is constantly making probes. Probes are very essential, obviously, in researching, getting minerals and gas so you can research, make your units, all the fun stuff you need in order to win the game. However, he's thrown down this geyser. He has yet to put any probes. Oh, there they go. There we got the 3 probes going on the gas. And now he's definitely got an oversaturation here, leaking onto 2 pages of probes. So it would be good for him to send some of those probes over here to optimize the mining, but I'm sure he'll get around to that whenever time allows. This base working, gotten some couple lings. He's got 2 spines for defense. although WeeDsuspect, he does know where his opponent is. He hasn't seen very much. Just the forge, cannon, and 2 pylons. This guy's overlords flying about the map. This overlord will probably eventually make it into the base to see what's going down. There go those transfer probes. But now we have a huge flood of lings. Lots of lings coming over, and I think we'll definitely be able to get into the base. Yep, he does choose to just go through the base, which is a smart play. And some gateways going down, but we've got all these lings in here, which is definitely a problem for our zeriod red Protoss. Starting to lose a lot of probes, actually. That's not a good situation for anyone to be in. In fact, he lost almost all of his probes here at his main, except for the one who had managed to hide out in the assimilator when the lings ran through to attack. Warp gate's not yet finished, and he does only have 1 gateway. He's got 2 zealots out and a sentry back there. He's throwing down a cannon to finish up that wall off. And these zealots are chasing down the lings. However, it looks like obviously the lings are much quicker than the zealots. So although it looks like back at our base, our blue Zerg player is slightly failing to macro. He's getting his resources up pretty high. Only off of 1 geyser still, but he's got 500 gas, although he has dropped this geyser. Space is a little undersaturated. But the lings do get cleaned up. Unfortunately for our Protoss player, he's lost 27 units, which that's not good. Losing, and I'm sure the majority of them probes. Yeah, 26 workers killed for our Zerg player, which is a good situation for him to be in. I'm sure he's happy about that. I'm sure he definitely feels like he's ahead. Sent the links to knock out those rocks. Just begin working on his 3rd expansion, although he does have a 3rd hatchery up here in his base, his macro hatch, to get lots of larvae, and he is definitely ahead in money right now. And ahead in the drones. It looks like our red Zerg is just ahead in most all aspects. So come back to the production tab. Got a stalker being warped in. Our Zerg is taking another gas. He's got this base pretty well saturated. And making his 3rd now as we speak. He hasn't spread too much creep. He does only have 2 queens, which he's using for injects. So I would get a 3rd queen, begin to spread creep, especially to connect these 2 bases. It's just always nice to have your bases connected, and then get some combat creep coming out here to begin to help with any assaults towards the Protoss base. So zeriod, he's got a nice wall in here. He's run by his lings might be able to get through this little crevice here, or there might be a couple crevices, but for the most part he should be safe from any more of those ling run-bys. But it doesn't look like WeeDsuspect is going for that now. I think his plan from this point on is probably just going to go for a lot of roaches. He is getting that. He does have 3 Evo chambers, which is interesting, and he is opting to use all 3 of them. So that's not something you would normally see, but he does have to spend those resources. He has a good bit of larvae saved up, 26 larvae. So we're back here, Protoss base. It looks like we're back up to pretty good saturation, although there is definitely an excess of probes here that could be sent here to put the saturation better, increases income by a bit, although they're pretty neck and neck right now, just with both of them only having 2 bases, although WeeDsuspect has his 3rd up. He has yet to send any drones there, and look at all of these roaches. And our Protoss player does see all these roaches. He has an observer floating over this army, and I'm sure with his army of some sentries, a couple zealots, he does have some stalkers over here. I'm not sure. I bet he sent them over to these rocks, but they were unable to get through this crevice. So they're instead gonna just hang out and bro out in this little corner, and he's realized that. So, more probes here, that's good. Better saturation. Still quite a few here, but you know, he'll have those for when he begins to construct this nexus. An overseer flying through. We'd suspect when he gets some scouting in. Ooh, a dark shrine going down. I wonder if... Where did that overlord go? That overlord is over here. Is he gonna see this dark shrine? Which is actually right here. If he doesn't, if he chooses to not move that overlord, he won't see it. And he won't be able to prepare too well for DTs. If that is the path zeriod decides to go down, instead of maybe he'll choose Archons, which might not be too good of a choice against Roaches. Roaches tend to do very well against Archons. And we have 13 more Roaches on the way. Zerg Carapace level 2 and Zerg Missile Attack level 2 coming up. Although needs to get some more injects. We have a Nidus network. I bet that's what this overseer is for. Drop a Nidus in the back of his base. There are a couple. Oh, there's the Nidus. There it's just hanging out. I wonder, did Zerioid... He can't see that. It's in a very perfect spot. And now it's open. Oh, he did spot it, however. And it's going to die very quickly, only spitting out that single Zergling. So very well done by Zerioid. Shut that down pretty quickly. Good play by him. Look at this Overlord spread. A blue Zerg player is able to see most all of the map except for the explicit inside of our red Protoss's base. Nice wall off. Tons of gateways. 5 more gateways being made. It is spotted, but you know, whatever. It's cool. 5 gateways. It's chill. Built to hold off some milling run-bys. Got some cannons to shoot. And just more roaches. Oh, I guess, yeah, all those roaches are coming out of the Nidus. Luckily, Zeriod was able to prevent those units from sneaking into his base. But, there just comes a squad of Lings running through. Headed toward the base of a Protoss, who is currently behind by about 30 supply. Looks like a missed rally point, sending his queen out there. Who knows, maybe Zerioid's going to get lucky and get a nice queen smoke. The Guardian Shield seems a little silly to put out because, as we know, Guardian Shield, or as you might not know, I didn't know this for a while, but Guardian Shield only decreases damage from ranged units. So it doesn't help against Lings. It would help against these roaches, though, which have just begun to move out. And it looks like he's going to hit a timing attack right when level 2 finishes. Level 2's 15 seconds away from finishing, which is about the time it'll probably take for him to get to this base. And I'm kind of worried for Zerioid. Hoping he can pull through this. He does have some DTs. I don't see an Overseer. The closest Overseer would be right here. But that's obviously a ways away. Now, the engagement's beginning. Let's sit over here and watch this. He's taking out some pylons first and power down this gateway, but he's chosen to retreat. Which maybe he thought there were more cannons back here. Wasn't able to see how many there were and just got worried. But he did power down the gateway. He's running around now. The enemy's base. We do have charge. Charge is nice. Charge is a fun upgrade to have. But, oh, and the zealots. Oh, well, the ground units, rather, all have 1 ground carapace. It's not a carapace. Carapace is for Zerg. That's some armor. And we're fighting a Guardian Shield helping out. But these DTs, I don't even know if WeeDsuspect knows the DTs are there. It's very possible he doesn't. Because, obviously, they're invisible. He might not be noticing all the extra damage these DTs are doing. It's quite a few DTs. He's got 9 DTs on the field, and I think they were all there helping out with the defense effort, forcing him to retreat. This DT is going to hang around, hope to kill off a few stragglers. And WeeDsuspect, as a result, has decided to morph a handful of Overseers. Looks like he's going to send 1 to each base. Now we've got our Protoss working on his upgrades now. He's got really good saturation. He's really outpaced our Zerg player, who for some reason doesn't have very many drones here. And he's definitely under saturation here. It looks like our Zerg player is just undersaturated at all his base. This geyser's not mining. This geyser only has 2. So he could definitely afford to drone up. He's got 38 drones compared to our Protoss's 83, which is a little bit for 3 bases, I would personally say. He's definitely got excess here that could be transferred here. And these roaches are burrowed. They're hiding underground. Oh, there they go. They were hiding underground. I'm not sure what they were waiting for. He's not researching burrowing or tunneling claws to sneak away. And I think there's only one observer on the map. Yes, there is, which is over here. So that would actually be quite effective until Zeriod had opted to create another observer. And these zealots are just dancing around. The roach is kind of cute. So we've got some more burrowed roaches just hanging out. There they go, getting hit. Stalkers and Immortals, the range units staying back. The roach count is definitely dwindling. He's down incredibly much from what he was at earlier in the game. This entire area full of roaches, still making some. He's got 4 more on the way. He's got a stream of them coming in, but he definitely can't keep up with the production of Zerioid, as he has less than half of the income of our Protoss. They have even gas, which is nice, but you definitely need minerals to make an army. Although our Blue Zerg does have quite a bank stocked up. Got all these warp gates, warping in some units, pumping out Immortals. No Colossus. I don't believe there's a Robo Bay here for Colossus Tech. Taking a 4th. Just spotted by this Overseer, but he can't do anything about that except for report back. Hey guys, it's taking his 4th. Probably shouldn't let him do that. And it looks like he's to 38 drones. He must have made a couple buildings. He's got a spire up. Opting for a double spire, which is interesting. You only need 1 to make mutas or corruptors. So I'm not quite sure what his thought process is there. If he wants to take upgrades, it's always a possibility, but he hasn't started an upgrade in this one yet, so I'm not sure. He has this Nidus network. I guess he'd try to do a Nidus network here. Sorry, I missed that. That didn't really work out. So all these units, Zerioid making a mass of them over here. Starting to move in. This could be the attack for the kill. It looks like they're just going to chill on this little corner for now. Snipe that Zergling at the watchtower. And I think WeeDsuspect is getting a little worried. He does have 2/2 roaches. However, Zerioid's army is also at 2/2. So that kind of negates the effect of both units. Warping in some more warp gates. Getting a couple mutas. But mutas won't, especially that few mutas, won't do anything against this high stalker count, which is at like 17-ish. 17 over here. Is there? He's made a pylon. He's made a forward pylon. He's got an observer over there. He's got a probe just hanging out over there. He's taken this. I guess it would usually be a hidden base because it's not too close to his other bases, but this overlord's here saying, hey guys, what's up? See your bases. And we now have a 200 Protoss army, which is never fun to deal with. And our Zerg, although he does have 2,000 gas, he doesn't have any minerals. So there's even though gas is much more essential in the late game than minerals, that's because minerals are a lot easier to get because you can get them so much faster. But WeeDsuspect isn't really doing that with his low saturation. And here comes the attack. All the DTs. He's got some corruptors and some mutas. I'm not sure why he made corruptors because there are in fact no flying units. There's an observer, which his overseer would have been able to see, and it looks like all the DTs did not die. I'm sure a handful of them did with this overseer flying around. Queen is down. Roaches are getting torn apart by these zealots. The DTs are dying, but we have a high immortal count. 6 immortals is a lot more than you would usually see in a game, and immortals are quite the good unit, especially at that, not recent anymore, but that range upgrade allows them to shoot from much farther away, shoot around the stalkers, and WeeDsuspect has left the game, making our Red Protoss player the victor in this game. So, despite the fact that Zeriod did allow a Ling run-by to run through his base into his main, he was able to come back from that deficit by having superior, I guess, worker count. WeeDsuspect, I'm not sure. I don't think he stopped making workers probably about that time when he got that successful wing run by. Which is not a smart thing to do, especially when you're expanding. You got to add more workers for those expansions. Got to get the income up, as we can see. Although this base had been killed, so the income is much lower, and this base has been evacuated of all drones. But our Protoss player had 3 times the income. So that just goes to show how important probes are, and especially in the lower leagues, if you can keep up with your probe count and keep up with your income and keep spending the minerals you get and the gas you get, you're going to be able to pull out ahead with superior macro. So once again, my name is Cookieking. I am starting out my casting career, I guess. I don't know, maybe just starting as a hobby. Casting's always looked fun to me. I wanted to try it out. So if you would like me to cast a replay for you, I promise I'll get better. I know this might have been a bit rocky, but I had fun casting this. It's always fun to see the interesting strategies lower level players can come out with, not having to stick to a build order that the pros have refined and made perfect. We can see some interesting tactics. So once again, I'm Cookieking. Email me at cookiekingsc@gmail.com with your replay file. If you'd like me to cast your replay, I'll do it, upload it to YouTube. I'll send you the link so you can see it, and hopefully lots of other people will see it. I'm also Cookieking on Reddit if you want to send me a message there. And yeah, see you guys later.